The milestones that I went through and the lesson that I learned is the different phases in my life. So the first one being childhood. As Amna said, I was extremely naughty and rebellious and often punished and misunderstood for being the person that I was. In hindsight, I feel I was creative, and I think now, being a parent myself, I would have viewed that child very differently and brought her up to celebrate her wildness and her creativity and her craziness and not try to conform her. So that was lesson number one. Married very early, teenage mom, at the age of 21, I had 2 children and married to a rich industrialist. I wanted to have a more meaningful life, so I sold my wedding diamonds and went to Vidal Sassoon to learn how to cut hair. At that time, it was very, very, I come from very humble and conservative background, so it was not the done thing. And they said, why do you need to work? Your husband's rich. I said, I don't need to work, I want to work. So they thought it was a phase that would pass away, but it didn't. I came back and I started my first salon, and people in this room may know that in '86, I was in my little maid's room, 8 by 8, with one chairman chair, one mirror, a second air conditioner, and a little cupboard under which I kept my perm solutions in the 80s, and over that was a cushion where my clients sat, just one at a time. So that's how I got started, and the phase never went away. I just became more and more crazy and engrossed in the same thing. So the second lesson I learned is invest in yourself, not in jewelry. So, bringing up children, very engrossed in my career. The kids were growing up fast, so was I in my business. I realized when they were in their teens that, the parenting that I had learned from my parents was not working with my kids. There was obviously, this is a generation of information, and when I would say, you need to do this, why? The question would always be why, and I would say, because I said so. It wouldn't work. They're like, no, you convince us, why should we do this? And then I realized that, parenting needs to be redefined and rediscovered and reinvented for the next generation who is full of kids, rebellious kids like myself. I don't blame them, they've taken after me. But I needed to learn how to communicate with them. And the lesson number 3 that I learned is that you need to just learn how to communicate. The kids will see what they will see. It's not do as I say, it's do as I do. So to make them better humans, I had to make myself a better human. That's what I had to do. Thank you. So kids growing up, and I want to build a brand, I want to be a leader, I want to be a businesswoman. And I realized that, at that time I had appointments back to back, 6 days a week, 3 months, all in advance. People who would come to me in the early 90s, mid 90s would know that, wouldn't get an appointment with me. And how would I grow? So I realized that I had to build a team. And in the end, there are 24 hours, there are 2 hands, and there's only X amount I can charge. So I started to train my team, and my friends and family said, never teach them. Ye chale jayenge seekh ke. And I know that that will happen, and people in the industry will agree with me. But at that time I thought, if I train 100 people and 30 of them may leave, I will still have 70, which is better than doing 24 hours of haircut. So that's what I started to do and build a team. And mashallah, we are an international brand soon, and it's growing really fast. We're a household name. So building a team was very important. And the lesson that I learned was that you have to grow with your arms open, not with them closed. I realized by default that I had built a brand, and when I was asked to come and talk about the brand, and I don't know brand, I don't like education, so I'm not formally educated. I just feel like I need to learn a vocation. I will learn the way I want to learn, and from where I want to learn, and the way I want to execute it. So I don't believe in formal education. or like conformed education. I believe institutions dull diamonds and polish pebbles. So I had my own formula, and I had built a brand, and I realized that I need to now convert the brand into a retail, like Atika said, that retail is a different business, and to take the brand and leverage the name and the credibility that it stands for and sell something which can be taken home. And I launched my Zero Makeup, which is the whole philosophy of empowering women by being themselves, being the color they are, not trying to look fair or masking themselves, but just being an enhanced version of themselves. So lesson learned there is I will only sell what I will buy. Now at 55, I'm looking at my life, and what have I taken from it? I feel that life is very, very simple. Like Amna said, you need to just discover yourself, believe in yourself. The beginning and the end, and this is something that I learned from Sadhguru, is fixed. We all believe we came a certain day and we'll go a certain day. So if the beginning and end is fixed, how can we complicate that straight line? How can we turn it into a knot? So, we work on complicating things. Life is very simple. Keep it simple is my message. Thank you.